The Babyface's Blaster. Many of you probably know the sad legacy of the Babyface, but for those of you who don't, the tale of the Forgotten Scout Primary is this. This gun was released in the Pyromania update, and the stats are quite interesting. The core concept is that upon dealing damage, the user will gain Boost. The Scout's movement speed is 133%, and the Scout can move at 173% at full boost. The downside of this weapon manifests themselves in only having 4 shots before needing a reload, as well as losing 75 to 90% of your boost upon double jumping. On top of this, taking damage also makes you lose your boost. 25 damage taken will remove all your boost, as a single tick of damage removes 4% of your boost, which is 4 ticks of boost. Naturally, a pyro is your worst nightmare with this weapon, equipped, and sentries, and heavies, anything. Even if a scattergun just barely grazes you, that's half your boost gone. Not to mention, it takes 100 damage to refill it. Not that that's a big problem to achieve or anything. I should also mention that with this weapon equipped, the Scout automatically moves at 120% of his normal movement speed. But those are the current stats. When it was released, it had an accuracy bonus, a damage penalty to compensate, and no boost loss on taking damage. From what I know, there's a glitch that allows the Scout to outrun his hitbox, the thing that actually registers the damage dealt to you. This was never patched, although Gunmetal came after that, which was a TF2 update. Now keep in mind, I joined it just before or during Gunmetal, so I never used this weapon prior to that, so I'm not allowed to comment on how it worked or how it felt, but Gunmetal added the boost reduction on damage and increased the amount of boost removed on double jump. This completely screwed the weapon over, bringing it to its current infamy today. Now, let me be clear here. In my opinion, this weapon is designed to be a side grade to stock. It fires the same rounds, no extra pellets or firing speed, and the ability to get crits, although with 2 fewer shots. This weapon compensates for this by allowing a massive speed boost, allowing them to open up the maps in a lot of different ways. You can jump farther, and a well-placed meat shot will get your boost back. You can escape situations where you would normally die, like getting out of an area before the enemy has a chance to gun you down. Also, while this may just be the people I'm up against, I've noticed that classes that mainly deal with projectiles also have a hard time dealing with you, mainly soldiers or demos. Due to your increased movement speed, you're able to get closer to them by dodging their shots and getting some good meat shots in. This isn't to say the gun is without flaws. I think it's completely unfair that only 25 damage dealt to you will reset your boost, as the Scout only has 125 health to begin with. Not that the Scout is short of any health regenerating items, like the Pretty Boy's Pocket Pistol or the Mad Milk. However, to put it in perspective, a scattergun hit at long range will make you lose all your boost, or even 2 mini sentry shots. Due to their range, they can shoot you down before you can destroy it unless you flank them. Not to mention the boost loss on double jump has a staggering impact on your speed. Some jumps suddenly become impossible, outright destroying the chance of opening up some maps in different ways. However, it's better than when it was released, as all boost was lost when you jump, even if you were on the ground and it was your first jump. Plus, the gun also requires a decent amount of accuracy at mid to range combat or even close range combat, thanks to the 4-shot magazine. If you're up against stock, missing enough shots that your target doesn't die makes you an easy kill. This goes for NGs, spies, soldiers, or demos. If you miss enough shots to have to rely on your secondary weapon or your melee weapon, you're screwed. So, in light of these downsides, let me offer some ideas. For secondaries, thanks to the buff, I highly suggest you use the Pretty Boy's Pocket Pistol. It's rapid firing, meaning you'll gain boost at a large rate, as well as you're gaining 3 HP per shot. You gain 27 HP if you empty all the bullets into somebody, because Valve removed the fall off for which HP is gained. Back when it used to be that you gained 7 HP per hit, it would only mean that close range shots got you 7 HP, but now that it's 3, they removed it. Plus, it's stylish and fits the public enemy theme well. For melee weapons, I suggest the Candy Cane or the Atomizer. And while the latter may seem like an odd choice, here's my reasoning for this. While the Atomizer, yes, does make you lose your boost when you triple jump, it still allows the ability to open up the map in different ways. I mean, a big perk of the Scout is allowing his double jump ability to outmaneuver and access new areas. The Atomizer adds on to my previous point about the BFB in regards to the added mobility. Besides, after getting to a new area, you can easily find an enemy and score a meat shot, getting you back your boost. The Candy Cane also aids in health regeneration, dropping a small health pack when you kill an enemy. This aids against pyros, giving you a fighting chance against them should you get afterburned. The Babyface allows you to overwhelm soldiers or demos, as I mentioned previously, also granting you a small health kit when you kill them. This makes up for any potential splash damage that they may have caused when they were trying to kill you. I highly suggest against any weapons that cause bleed damage, like the Basher or the Flying Guillotine. Here's why. The Boston Basher, or the 3-ring blade, whichever you have, requires you to actually flank enemies and smack them. The Scout only does 35 melee damage, or 105 if you get a critical hit, and while this may fuel your boost to get away, chances are the enemy has turned around and you're already a corpse on the floor before you know what happened. The Flying Guillotine requires pinpoint accuracy as well as some practice due to the drop-off distance it has. It also only has a single use and the ability to not get random crits, so while it's a somewhat effective way of gaining boost, not to mention with a reasonably quick recharge, I would still advise against using it. Though, if you were a Sandman, Cleaver, Scout, or just a fan of it, by all means use it, as it still does a nice bit of damage, and couple that with the bleed, it's still enough to get you full boost. But, is there a specific way to use the Babyface's blaster? Well, in my experience, it's a jack-of-all-trades weapon. It's good for a flank playstyle, as the movement speed allows you to get in and get the heck out of there if things go south for you. It also allows you to infiltrate their side of the map faster before firing some shots into the enemies. Despite the backscatter being great for flank scouts, the Babyface will still offer consistent damage as well as the same accuracy as stock, unlike other flank weapons such as the Soda Popper, Force of Nature, or the Backscatter. However, I find that a good way to use it would just be to be an offensive scout, capture the intel and just swarm your enemies. It takes some practice, but if you get good with the Babyface's blaster and get good at dodging, nothing can harm you. Even if it does, you still have your other two weapons dedicated to health regen and or gaining back your boost for a quick getaway. All in all, the Babyface's blaster is not the best weapon for Scout. It's good, don't get me wrong, but I still think it fails its role as being a serviceable side grade. Here's how I would suggest changing it. Just revert it back to pre-gunmetal. Remove the boost lost on damage stat, fix the hitbox glitch, and keep the value of boost lost on jump the same, as you can easily get it back. I wouldn't call it OP, as you can still easily gun down the Scout with higher damage weapons, like other scatterguns, miniguns, or shotguns, among others. It still remain on par with stock, as you gain the ability to miss a few shots rather than have good accuracy with the Babyfaces, alongside the fact that you have a faster movement speed than you would with no boost. Double jumping would be consequence-free to boot. While it would definitely make you harder to deal with, experienced players or even new players wouldn't have a hard time dealing with you, especially NGs. While looking at other videos on the Babyface's blaster to ensure that I'm not unintentionally ripping off another video, I saw some people in the videos and in the comments suggest that the boost drain continuously. I disagree with that idea, because if you have to retreat, you have no methods of dealing damage, and thus you lose all your boost. It's essentially forcing you to constantly stay in battle and to abuse the use of healing weapons. It would also make the Babyface very situational, as the boost only triggers and remain active while in battle, thus removing its current jack-of-all-trades status. It would make it like the Backscatter or the Sun on a Stick. Those weapons are heavily reliant on the situation, being that you're playing a flank stout playstyle, or that you're near a burning enemy and have enough time to start whacking them with your melee. It would be pointless actually, but despite all this, I love the Babyface's blaster, and I sincerely hope that more people, as well as Val, recognize this weapon's true potential if used correctly, and maybe it'll get a buff someday, who knows. This has been a look at the Babyface's blaster. Sorry if this video seems long and boring to some of you, but there was a lot of information and ideas I wanted to bring up. Also, for those of you that care, uploads from me will not be regular. I just make videos if I found something that's worth discussing, like a game or another underrated TF2 weapon. Regardless, thank you all for watching, and wherever you are, what time it may be, have a good day.